Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Developer Minded SEO. Today I have come up with an analytical topic. In this we are going to learn about how to track a user who are completing their actions on your website. That may be a user clicking on the button to download the ebook or clicking on the button to submit the contact form or any other things. If you want to track such events, then this video is going to helpful for you. So before getting into this video, if you are new to my channel, I'm Ish, search engine marketer, and do you want more videos about technical SEO and page speed optimization tips and tricks, and then don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Let's get into the video. So before getting into the live demo of setting up the events through Google Tag Manager, I would like to show the exact steps what are we going to apply. The first step is to track the event via Google Tag Manager. You should already have your Google Analytics tracking code on your Google Tag Manager. So if you already install your Google Analytics code on your Google Tag Manager only, you can track the event via Google Tag Manager. So only one code is installed on your website, that is the Google Tag Manager code, and every other things comes in the Google Tag Manager container. So in that only we are going to set the trigger event tracking. Okay. So make sure you have Google Analytics account connected with your Google Tag Manager. And the next thing is you have to enable all the built-in variables in the variables section. And you have to create a new trigger. So whenever a user is clicking on a button, that is download button or any contact form button, you have to set the trigger for when the user is clicking the button. I need to trigger the tag. So you have to use the button ID, that is the button type ID or class ID or link, anything. You can choose some unique thing, that unique property that the button has. So you can use anything to use it as a trigger. After setting up the trigger, you need to create the tag associated to Google Analytics, and you have to choose the previously set trigger with that tag. So after this thing is finished, you have to debug whether your event tracking is set properly or not. So let me show these steps in the demo. So this is my Google Tag Manager account, and here is my Google Analytics account, and I need to track my number of people who are clicking on the download link. So in my blog, I having a comprehensive page speed optimization checklist. If you want, you can download too. It is very useful if you are a beginner. So I want to track how many users are clicking this download now button. So if they click the download button, I have set my download file to directly download to the browser. So if they click, it will get downloaded. So I want to track this information, how many people are clicking on that download now button. So for this only, I'm going to set the event tracking code via Google Tag Manager. So already I have my Google Analytics tracking code enabled on Google Tag Manager account. So this is the Google Analytics all pages. This is the Google Analytics Universal Analytics code already set on my Google Tag Manager account. So now I want to create an event for how many people is clicking on the download link. So for that I want to, first thing, I want to enable all the built-in variables. You have to check. So these are all the built-in variables I have enabled already. If you have not done, you can click on the configure, and at the clicks, you can click all the click element, click classes, click ID, click target, click URL, and click text. And these are the data layer variable you need to enable. This should be useful for many tracking, many triggering events. So I have already enabled these variables, and now I want to create a trigger. So I'm going to create a new trigger for this. So I'm going to uh, give the name for the trigger. You can give any name. So I'm going to track number of downloads. So this is my trigger. So I give this as trigger number of downloads. Trigger downloads. So here I'm going to choose the type as just links. So because I'm having if you choose the button and choose set the inspect, you can copy this code. So this is my source code for the button. So here is the class, and there is a class name, and here is the href link within the class, and that's it. So I can give either the class name if I select the class option. Otherwise I can select this link. If I want anything, you can choose, or ID, anything, any other things you can choose. But that should be unique for the button. That should be unique for this button. If this link is used anywhere else in my website, on my website, then it will track those informations also. It will track whenever the link is clicked. So it is not associated with this button. But in my website, I never going to use this link in anywhere else. I'm just going to use only for my button. So this is something unique for only for my button. So I'm going to take this link as a tracking element for trigger for my button. So I have copied this link. And now I'm clicking some clicks. So here you can give the, if you choose the click classes, you can give the class, choose your class name or your ID element, anything. So here I'm going to choose, I have selected the URL, so I'm going to choose the click URL option. So click URL that equals, so I'm going to give the exact URL. So I have given this option. So my exact URL is not this. Yes, page speed optimization checklist. Okay, this is my exact URL. So I have given the exact URL and save it. So now the trigger part is over. Trigger downloads. It is the trigger now we just now set. And the next thing is we have to create the tag associated to the Google Analytics and this trigger. So I'm going to tag downloads. So I'm going to tag the number of downloads. So I have choosing my Google Analytics. So here only I'm going to Google Tag Manager want to set the data to the Google Analytics. Okay, so I have chosen the Google Analytics and the track type as event. So this is the important thing. You have to set the track type as event. So category, you can choose any category as for your reference only. Okay. So downloads, I have chosen downloads. So here is the action. So we have created click URL. So I have chosen this click URL. Now you have to give your Google Analytics tracking ID. So my Google Analytics tracking ID is, I'm going to Google Analytics account, admin, and under the property, I can find my Google Analytics tracking code, UA hyphen. So this is my Google Analytics tracking code. I have given my tracking code, and next thing I want to set the trigger appropriate to this tag. So we have already created the trigger, that is trigger downloads. I have set to this tag. Now I have saved. Now I have to save. So I have saved this. So in tags we have created tag download, and in trigger we have created trigger downloads. Okay, now it is the debugging session. So now I want to debug this. So before submitting, I want to click the preview. So I will get this window. In this, I'm going to give my exact URL where I am going to check the download link. So this is the URL. So I have given the URL where I have the download button. So you can find the debugger window is opened, and okay, now when the page is loaded, now the tag fired is Google Analytics all pages. So it is a universal analytics I have already installed on my Google Tag Manager account. So when the page is fired, the tag fired is the Google Analytics all pages tag. So now I'm going to click a link, my download link. So now you can see the tag fired tag download link. So here I have already set tag download link and tag downloads to analytic tags are fired. This thing is I have already set before. This thing I have set for this demo. So both the tags are triggered. At the same time, you can check in the Google Analytics also whether this trigger is showing in the Google Analytics account. So I am going to the real-time user account in that events. So now, right now, there is a one user is active, and you can see event category downloads, and the event action is the URL. So one user has clicked the download button. So in Google Analytics, you have tracked the user. So after this, don't forget to, so debugging session is over. So we can see the container loaded, and this tag is fired only when the link is clicked. So that's it. If you have any trouble on firing the tag, you can check it here. You can click it here and you can see Google Analytics succeed and category downloads. Trigger downloads is the name I have given to my trigger, and this is the conditions that satisfy the trigger. So I have given the link, so it is equals to the same link, so this has triggered. So be sure to click to give the anything that is unique to the button. So here I have given the URL because I'm not going to use that URL in anywhere else. If I have used the URL in anywhere else in that page, then it's going to trigger, but that is not associated with that button. So this will create an unnecessary tracking, wrong track. It will create unnecessary trackings. So make sure give anything unique to the button. So that's it from today's video, and don't forget to submit the changes. So in the workspace you can find what are the changes you have made in this area. So I have created a tag download, and I have created a trigger download, and I have debugged the session whether it is working or not. So it's everything is working, so you can give the submit button. So that's it from today's video, and I hope you find it useful from this video. If you find it useful, please hit the like button. And do you having any doubts, means you can ask your questions in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Then let's see you on another video. Until then, this is Ish.